Welcome to episode 59 of The Weekender. I'm Brandon Roberts with Chris Bishop.
Here we are again.
This is post-debate edition.
Yes. Well, what an interesting debate last night, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting being an interesting word.
I don't even know what to say, but we're not going to talk much about it.
No, we're not. Politically, this show isn't about politics. It's about the real estate issues in our state, but we're going to have some real estate issues. I got to tell you, we're going to have it all the way up the chain.
Yeah, but I did get out and vote today, so that's...
Did you really?
Yeah, I stopped over by the ballpark in downtown Summerlin.
You did it in person?
Yeah, and it was, I pulled up, walked right in, checked right in. No, there was a lot of people there too, but it's really efficient. They're really getting them.
So did you get a ballot in the mail as well?
I did.
So did you take that with you, the whole thing, or what?
I didn't.
Are you supposed to?
So you don't have to, but there is a question when you're going in that they ask you if, are you going to surrender it?
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I put, yes, I'm going to surrender it, and then she goes, well, where is it? And I go, we need to start over.
Well, yeah. So what's interesting to me, always on every election, and we talked about it before, is you go in and you have your federal delegates, your state delegates, the county, and then you have like 2 pages of judges.
There was a lot of judges this time.
I think that, we talked about it a while back, the state association doesn't really vet judges, and neither does BORPAC and things like that, unless they're realtors themselves. Once in a while we've had that. But I mean, it's getting to the point where they need a little bit of context, how they do on things. So I don't know. I know some of the trade groups do that outside of real estate.
I don't know how those judges run their campaigns, because it's like nobody really knows them. All you see is their billboards around town.
Yeah.
And I guess you just select the best looking person. I don't know.
I don't know. I guess so. Anyway.
There was also 5 questions changing the state constitution. Yeah, I didn't hear much controversy on those this year.
I did on the Board of Regents. The Board of Regents one, sounds like a lot of people were up in arms in the way the regents were spending money. It kind of doesn't make a little sense to me, and I got to learn more about it, where they're saying, well, we don't want them to have any authority and power, but yet they're elected to have that authority and power. Right. So I got to do some more research on that.
Anyway, but if you haven't voted, get out there and vote.
That's right. Vote and vote often. So we have the state convention coming up for Nevada Realtors. I'm really excited about that. The entire team has put a lot of work and energy and effort into it. It's been really weird because it's all completely virtual. Mm-hmm. And we were actually able, because of time and energy and our speakers and getting them scheduled, we recorded a lot of it pre-convention.
Right.
And so the idea is that, we're going to be able to put it together in one edited version, so it looks more professional and it's more centric. And then the speakers will be on to actually answer comments.
The questions?
Yeah, so they'll be talking while they're there, able to talk to you and provide some feedback. So it's really cool.
So that starts Monday?
It starts Tuesday. And it's from 9 to 12, sometimes 12:30 each day. We wanted to keep it 3 hours. We'll have some breaks in the middle. But it's important that you go and register for the event. Even if you're going to watch it, like we're going to have it here in our offices for agents to come in and sit and watch, socially distanced, of course. But we still want everyone to register, because that way they get to keep the content and they can get it on their phone. And there's a great app that you want to go in and use.
And give me an accurate number too. And if you're with Signature, just so you know, we will not be having a sales meeting today. Yep. We'll be doing the state convention in lieu of the sales meeting.
We're gonna have that going on at the same time. So other brokers out there that are watching, we'd love for you to promote that in your office, to have it in your social area or wherever else, just to get your agents in to take part. It'll be the best value you'll get for the free 99. That's my favorite word, by the way, free 99. And it's completely free to the members.
That's awesome.
So committee appointments are coming out. They came out for NAR. I was able to get on a political committee, which is really exciting. 10 years trying to do this, and I finally got on one, so keep up the hard work out there. And
chance.
Yeah, the committee's here for LVR. You guys are finalizing those?
We finalized those, yep, they're out there.
Nice. So. And of course the state committees, if you want to get on a state committee, it's only by appointment. And so definitely reach out to Brad Spires or his incoming president-elect Doug McIntyre up in Reno, and buddy up to them, and they'd love to have you participate in those state committees.
I do want to say something on the local committees. It's kind of an interesting thing, because the election happened, right, and then it's like immediately the next week we're picking committee members.
Yeah.
And then the committee members were selected. Now I'm starting to get people that are requesting committees. So just so you know, I guess next year, if you really want to be on committees, to be a little bit more
proactive.
Yeah, proactive in getting that in sooner. I don't know why it goes so fast, but I guess I do, because they start strategic planning meetings and everything else, so they want to include them. But it does move very quickly.
And one of the things I'd suggest to you maybe to try out is, I put a post on Facebook, because that's where you go for news, and a bunch of people put on, I'd like to be on this, and so the ones that qualified for it, I use that list, and they also have an email for the president And so, now's the time to tell you what committees they'd be interested in, because you're going to have to sit and look at appointments for next year.
Yeah, so next year I get to make some appointments on some committees. This year, no appointments come
I want
from
to be on the
me.
past presidents committee.
Past presidents, you're on it.
Because I'm a past president. So one last thing on association business, PSF is wrapping up a political survival fund. And if you were to commission check during the pandemic, that is solely from your hard work, but it's also protected by those dollars that are invested in PSF. That's what gives us the ability to go to state government and say, we're essential, here's the reasons why, that's the connection. And so please invest into your industry, into yourself and your business to make sure that those checks keep coming.
Yeah, well said, because if we didn't have that war chest, so to speak, we didn't have that political influence, we could have been deemed non-essential, and none of us would have made money during that time.
The bigger thing is that right now, our state is in a massive budget crisis because of the pandemic, as we all know, and so the one industry that, they're going to turn and target is ours, and because we've been able to fight back many of those items. And so now more than ever, I understand there's been reasons, you believe certain things politically. This is not about parties. I mean, we've had a lot of people in opposing parties that have band together to protect our industry, so understand it's not about that.
Right.
It's about protecting our ability to sell real estate.
The other thing I know, do you know when the deadline is to contribute for this year?
I think they're trying to get everyone in by November 1st, so not very long. You still have the ability to make a contribution or an investment after that point, but I think December 1st is about when it wraps up for 2020. And then, of course, there's different levels, and if you have any questions on PSF or how it works, I'd love to sit down and work through it with you, because it's pretty cool.
And I think our state's close to the President's Cup, too.
Yeah, we're
So
pretty
I think
close.
we just need a few more
I think we're
major
like in
investors.
50 grand of it.
That's awesome.
So, of course, we talked about it before, but we're in a pretty hard market crunch, and I thought we'd take just a minute of the show today to talk about how to get business in this market, because a lot of times what I see is that, agents are taking it very, I don't know the right word for it, but they're like doing nothing, right? They're just kind of sitting and waiting, and that's not what to do right now. Now is the time to get out and be aggressive about your business. So ways you can do it. Phone calls.
Yeah.
People are home. Calling systems such as Vulcan or RedX or Mojo or any of the others out there, worst case scenario, get one, sit in your house and make phone calls all day. I mean, sooner or later you'll happen upon somebody that needs to do something, but it's an active activity that can get you out in the marketplace. We now can do open houses. You heard it here first. We can do open houses. And so we have a lot of people doing it. We've had good results.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Past clients or people in your sphere of influence.
See, and to me, that's the biggest one.
That's
I
huge.
mean, how many people really want to make cold calls and prospect all the time? Couple. But overall, we all want to be able to work from referral and have people calling us. And the best way to do that is take care of your past clients, which means stay in contact with them.
But a lot of people say, well, I haven't talked to them, it's been years or it's been months, and I haven't. Make the phone call. Worst case, I've never had a client when I called up, one time, where they said, don't ever call me again, and they hung up, It's usually good conversations, and you've got to plant the seed somewhere, right? Facebook, people are on Facebook every day, try it for business, it really works. LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Professional people with other businesses that are looking to support businesses and employ people that need space to work in and places for them to live.
That's one platform I think is very underutilized in the realtor community.
Yep, agreed. And don't just get on there and share your listings because they don't care about that, they care about the relationship. And referrals. There are 1.4 million realtors in the United States. And what's ironic is if you don't have any production here, start calling realtors in other states and say, I want to make a referral connection. Worst case scenario is, you call up that realtor, and you could Google top agent in Milwaukee.
Right.
You call up John and you say, hey, John, do you have a referral agent here in Las Vegas? And he says, well, yeah, I do. Click, hang up. Second best agent in Milwaukee, and you just keep going down the list until you find
When you
somebody.
hit the 10th best, you got him.
Yes. And then, this is so true. If you can't get production from all the things I just mentioned, find an agent that's productive and ask to help them out. Because we all need help when you have all those deals going on, and so I'm just trying to give you answers.
Well, another thing on the referral thing, networking with other realtors across the country, there's lots of Facebook groups out there where realtors pool together. It's a great place to go in and comment and build those relationships. And,
Sure is.
And ask for referrals, yeah.
It's amazing, too, after the amount of time and posting information about your marketplace and those things, people really do start to follow that.
You do that stuff and boom, you could be a producer.
So of course, no matter what, getting out in your community and supporting the community is a big thing. I've seen realtors do it all over the state, and especially with the crisis. And those also are social networks that you can work for business. I know that wasn't the intent to start it, but you get a group of 200 or 300 people together with a common goal, great networking opportunity. So I saw something on Facebook that was kind of interesting. They were talking about, the LBR board meetings, the state board meetings, and, agents are talking about, oh, you can't go to those, they're confidential, you can't hear any of that information. That's not true. All of those meetings now are available, but you do have to register because they want to know who's looking at them. And you can come to the state board meeting. Tom Blanchard has opened up the Las Vegas Realtors meeting. We used to just show up to the meeting.
Yeah, it was always, the initial portion of it was always open.
Yeah.
And you just show up and sit through it.
But the point is, the only thing that's really confidential, and I'm speaking as a president, incoming president, is when we get into a legal issue or a contract negotiation, it's not that we're going to withhold the info from you. It's that it's like me trying to negotiate the price on your house while you watch me do it.
Yeah.
We'll pay $260, but let's not say that yet.
Yeah.
Let's try it $230 first, right?
Well, and that's just, that portion of the meeting is called an executive session.
Yeah.
And that it is closed to the public, but
Someone asked, why do the executive sessions go so long? You ever hear a realtor talk? Right? I mean, it does have some back and forth.
well, I know, I was invited to the executive session this week,
Yeah.
portion of it, because I'm going on the board.
Yeah, as you should.
But I was only available for 15 minutes of it, and they kicked me out anyway, so. But the interesting thing, the local board meeting was just broadcast this week on
it was.
Thursday, and I think there was only 19 people that tuned into it outside of the board of directors, so.
Well, you see a lot of hype on Facebook, and everyone's like, there's a conspiracy, right? There's aliens and everything else that are influencing our industry, and then they get all hyped up, and about 50 people show up, and they find out that isn't true, and then that all goes away, and everything's back to normal. So last thing I thought we should probably address, because it's really getting a lot of publicity with NAR, is the new professionalism and the change to the Code of Ethics. Yes.
Now, this is a big change.
Yes.
I mean, this could be significantly, could put a lot of people already in ethics violations just for what they post normally on a regular basis.
So what it's going to say is, it used to be that to be in violation of certain parts of the Code of Ethics, there had to be a real estate transaction involved. You could always be in violation of the preamble, which is the golden rule, do unto others as you have them do unto you. And that was the oldest rule. You could be a jerk, but you have to be a jerk to everybody, right?
Right.
And so this new piece of it will basically, if I saw you post something on Facebook that was demeaning to me as a realtor or demeaning to the industry, there could be a chance you'd get an ethics violation filed against you. And so I've always been a proponent of, don't do your business on Facebook. My clients don't care about my political concerns or affiliations or my thoughts, and if I get on and start talking about how one party's better than this or things like that, I just turned off business from a client.
Yeah.
And
now possibly an ethics violation.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think, the truth's important. We want you to be able to get out there and promote your feelings and your thoughts, and there's always a way to do that while maintaining some tact. And I think that's the problem is, profanity that's out there in it. These are, if you wouldn't say it in front of your kid, well, maybe we would. But, you should think about that. Photos. Yeah. I've seen some revealing photos, not of who I was hoping to see.
Thanks
revealing
for
photos
sharing.
Yeah. So the important thing is, please, make sure you're checking what you're putting out there.
That's the other thing is, it always seems like a good idea when you're typing it.
Yeah,
I'm usually
drinking.
Read it, think about it.
Yeah.
Wait a day. If you still feel passionate about it, then post it.
Yeah. So, another great week here in Southern Nevada. A lot of good stuff going on. I hope that everyone will join us for the convention. And
I think it's going to be a great turnout.
I think so too. We already have.
Weather's great. Everything's good.
We almost have 1,000 already registered, and so the goal is to hopefully get over the weekend another 300 or 400 to at least do that. And then register anyway if you can't attend the events and get the feed so you can take part in that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people actually showed up to the live ones?
The funny thing is, the first one we had about 1,000 people registered for it, and we had about 600 that
was down
showed
there
up.
at the M?
No, that was the one we did online with Kathleen Cortez Masto.
Oh, no, okay, I was talking about the convention.
Oh, the actual one?
Yeah.
We could only hold like 350 people at each of those, and so now to get this many people involved is pretty incredible. I mean, especially with the virtual part.
Yeah.
So I didn't tell you the speaker lineup, did I?
No.
So it's Tom Ferry and Mike Ferry together. They're the very first. there's a broker panel of brokers in the marketplace who have learned to do business during COVID, and we picked one of a different size company, entry-level company, mid-size, and then a larger brokerage, and just to kind of pick their brain and get ideas of what they're doing. We're going to end that day with a couple of other panels that we have going on. The second day, our keynote speaker is the governor, and so we definitely want to hear what he has to say about everything that's going on. And we have Secretary of State Barbara Sagaski has always been a very big supporter of the realtors, and so she's going to come on and talk about voting right before the election. That should be cool. We have a couple of other panels that will happen that day with John Ralston and a couple of real estate political commentators, and so that'll be good. And the third day is all realtor. I mean, just everything realtor you can think of, boards and executive committees and just opinions.
Nice. And then it's 3 hours a day.
3 hours a day, yep.
Where else are you gonna be?
Right here, watching that convention.
Right, and we'll wrap it all up next week on the weekend, or it'll be episode 60. I'm looking forward to that.
Yep, I can't wait till I turn 60.
All right, well, hope you guys have a good weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Feel the change coming, it's closer every day. I feel the waters rising.